Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of AskGufish Tropical Edition. This is a series where I answer your questions on Discord, but as you might be able to tell, this is not my normal setup. I'm on a quick beach vacation. One of the benefits of this job, I don't have to request PTO. I have to say, Florida has gotten significantly more Florida since I've been here last. But anyways, I filmed most of this quick episode before I left. As I was editing though, I realized I didn't do an intro or an outro. So here we are at the beach, still filming content for you guys. Drop a like on the video if you're going to enjoy it. That actually really helps out. And maybe hit the bell for notifications if you're feeling extra supportive, just for fun. And of course, so you don't miss any new uploads. And with that, let's get into the video. But first, before we get into it, I want to talk about how I was stunned this week. I put out a video on Sunday and the reaction that I got was totally not what I was expecting. So I came back from GearFest, saw a lot of sick gear, a lot of sick guitars, hung out with a bunch of awesome people. Vibes were good. And everyone there was talking about the newly unveiled PRS TELE. As far as the internet was concerned, I saw a lot of the term TELE killer being thrown around. And that's why I used it for the title of my video. Not because I think it's a TELE killer. It's not a TELE killer. It's not even really a TELE. It's a TELE alternative that takes most of its inspiration from the Telecaster. Because a big part of what makes a Telecaster a true Telecaster is the pickups. And with the PRS, even the name NF53 literally comes from the narrow field pickups. Although I did see a comment that was like, I'm convinced NF stands for not Fender. I found that very amusing. And I just thought it was super interesting. Like just about everyone I talked to who actually saw it or got to play it was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then so much of the online reaction has been the complete opposite, like, boo, this sucks. And I think I've figured out what happened. My and the other GearFest attendees' first experience with the PRS-T was seeing it, physically playing it, whereas online, you don't get to feel it. You see the pictures, and then almost immediately the price. That's all you have to go on to form a first impression. When I picked it up at Sweetwater, it was just the excitement that this is Miles Kennedy's signature, it's real, and I'm holding it. Had I been made aware of the price before I had been given a chance to pick it up, before I'd learned about the cool features like the preset tone roll-off, I might have had a very different first impression. Because $2,900 before tax is a lot of money, and that sets a certain expectation. That's the same price as a Gibson Les Paul Standard, which is a set neck, carved, figured top. Love them or hate them, Les Pauls do have a certain premium look. One of the most common comments I saw were a lot of people didn't think that the NF53 looks like a $3,000 guitar, and yeah, compared to a Les Paul Standard, you can kind of see where they're coming from. Or even compared to other guitars in PRS's lineup, like the Dusty Waring CE, which one of these looks more like the $3,000 guitar? The counterpoint to that is it's really the premium build quality and how, again, premium a guitar feels that justifies the higher price tags. And I'm not saying looks and specs don't matter. They should obviously be appropriate for the price tag. Like if you had a master-built Jackson forged from the fires of Mount Doom or whatever, and it came with Squier tuners, you'd be pissed. But if looks and specs were all that mattered, everyone would just play modded AliExpress guitars, right? Obviously, that doesn't make any sense either. So looks matter, and I even said in my last video, I thought that PRS had successfully avoided falling into the uncanny valley with the NF53. Again, this was based on my experience at GearFest, but it seems I was wrong. A lot of the discourse I've seen is like, PRS is pulling a reverse Ibanez. They started by making originals, now they're making copies. And super ugly copies at that. Like, I'm not going to argue that aesthetics are subjective. Another comment I've seen is the only people that like this are paid shills. Why is that always the go-to comment anytime someone puts a positive opinion on the internet? It drives me insane. But yeah, fair enough, I guess. It's also not true. In this case, I'm a non-paid shill. A shill that has no respect for his own value, I guess. But personally, I thought it looked pretty damn good. And I'm sure a lot of that is my Alter Bridge fanboyism talking, but only to a point, because like no amount of fanboyism will ever redeem whatever the hell this Tremonti guitar is, though. Let's just divert the hate, throw this model under the bus real quick. Point is, I still think the Myles Kennedy signature looks really, really good. Anyways, I just thought it was super funny that there was such a massive disconnect between my reaction and the general online reaction. It had me questioning everything. Like, oh my god, is it actually super ugly? And then it was like the Skinner meme. No, it's the children that are wrong. I'm not changing my opinion. I love the Myles Kennedy guitar, and I'm still going to try to get one. But truly, thank you to everyone that enlightened me to varying degrees of aggression about the opposite opinion. There's some people that get super defensive when they throw an opinion out on the internet, and not everyone agrees with them. That's not me. Especially as a guitar designer with Harley Benton, having a better understanding of why you like or dislike something is actually incredibly helpful. But also, you're wrong. With that, smack a like on the video if you're going to enjoy it to appease the glorious YouTube algorithm. Glory be to the algo. And let's get into your questions. Sick asks, how are you feeling about the new Epiphone JJN signature in Pelham Blue that is very similar specs as the gold, but a clear price difference? Okay, let's talk about the guitar first, because as we just covered, price can affect how you feel about a guitar. First of all, it looks fantastic. The original Old Glory Junior Custom Hybrid in black was cool, especially given that it had a proper Seymour Duncan P90, nice thick rounded 50s neck, satin finish. Still one of my favorite Epiphones ever. And visually, I wasn't a huge fan of no inlays and no side dots on the upper frets, but realistically, I live on the 0, the 1, and sometimes the 12 anyways, and I loved the contrasting back of the headstock. That was based on Jared's original modded Gibson. It was a cool story, so I could forgive the non-optional Blues Power plaque screwed into the body. The Gold Glory that followed it up wasn't really my thing, but I liked the idea a lot. It was supposed to be a gold top custom originally. Doing the whole thing in gold was an accident, but they thought it was dope, so they went for it. Task failed successfully. The only other all-gold Les Paul custom I could find is the limited 2007 50th anniversary one, which is obviously outrageously expensive. Usually they have a transparent stain or a black top like standard gold tops, so that was cool, an affordable all-gold custom. And then this new one, same specs, but instead of gold, it's all Pelham Blue. I love the look of a Pelham Blue Les Paul custom. It's not a very common finish for a custom, so that's already cool that it's in Epiphone form. It's not as unique as the Gold Glory. I think Epiphone actually did a Pelham Blue custom back in the day, but it didn't have an ebony board, which is a big factor in what makes a custom a proper custom, in my opinion. And the Gibsons tend to be very, very expensive, again, because it's not a very common finish. That's literally the only reason I don't have one. I can't find one for less than like $6,000. So yeah, one of my favorite Epiphone models of all time in a super dope, uncommon finish. What's not to love? Well, you mentioned the price. Now, when I demoed the original in November of 2019, it was $699, and at the time, it was a lot of guitar for $699. I still regret selling mine, but unfortunately, I had to pay for dumb shit like rent. So I had a roof over my head, but at what cost? At the Gold Glory that followed it up, it went up to $749. A $50 jump. Still not bad relative to how crazy prices have gone and how rare the finish is, and that it came with the proper Seymour Duncan P90. $749, that's a pretty decent price. But this Pelham Blue one, man, $999 and $150 price jump. Epiphone, why do you hurt me so? Like, I jest because I understand the production and distribution challenges. Working with Harley Benton, I really do. I understand intimately. And relative to today's market, $999 isn't even out of line, which is crazy because $1,000 it's a lot of money. And especially now that you're starting to see more deals pop up in the used market, it makes the price jumps of new gear even more apparent. At the same time, I really like this one. It's one of my favorite new import models of the year. I'm gonna try to get one to demo. Epiphone doesn't respond to my emails anymore. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's because I make videos like this, where it isn't just pure hype. Like, they'd been talking about sending the Adam Jones Epiphone, Jerry Cantrell's Wino, the Dave Mustaine stuff. I don't know what happened. Like, a lot of you have been asking, hey, used to demo all the Epiphone stuff. How come we don't see anything anymore? Have you moved on from Epiphone? Nah, man, I love Epiphone. I will always love Epiphone, and their quality has been really quite impressive recently. They just ghosted the shit out of me. It's okay. It doesn't hurt. Thank God we have Sweetwater. But yeah, anyways, this is going off on a tangent because I'm totally not hurt. It's totally fine. But so here's where I'll throw it to you. Thoughts on the new Pelham Blue Jared James Nichols custom, whether it be about the model, the specs, the price. Let me know what you're thinking down below. Rusty Offset Gang asks, totally random, but have you seen that Nightmare Machine Jackson Kelly they did with Diablo IV? Yeah, I have to say I am living for these horror metal guitar collaborations. The Stranger Things BC Rich was decent enough, but the Diablo Jackson blows it away. This is the perfect collaboration. Jackson's shapes are already metal as fuck enough, and then you add blood spatter and demons? Let's fucking go. This is the most metal guitar of the year. This wins. Everyone else, you can try again next year. The Diablo rune inlays, are those Diablo runes? I don't know. I don't play Diablo, but they're so cool. And then the red inlay on the 12th. It's kind of funny, 4 inlay on the 12th fret, but you get it. It makes sense. The hardware too, like the Godot tuners and the FU trem, black, but then the moving parts are red. EMG 8160 set because metal as fuck. The only thing that could have made it more metal is if the fingerboard and the headstock had red binding, a la Gary Holt. It's a limited run, which makes sense, but only 12 of these from the custom shop. I mean, these are sick, and I'm not even particularly into Jackson or Diablo like that, but a limited import production run with a simplified design and slightly downgraded specs, like how, again, BC Rich did with the Stranger Things guitar, that would have been really sick. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of overly metal guitars come across as pure cheese. Like, Kerry King's New Deans are horrifically bad, but for whatever reason, I really like this one. It just comes across as having a lot of fun with how overly metal it is. But yeah, just some of my thoughts. I usually stick to the boomer guitars, but I would totally rock this. What about you? And now it's time to hear from yet another adoring fan. It's the high praise of the week. You're absolutely horrible as a guitar player. There are bad players all over YouTube, but you are far and away the least talented. Suck isn't a strong enough word. I know, I literally never claimed to be a good player. I wish he could teach me, but surprise, surprise, he's got no videos. What a shame. But now that we're reaching the end of the video, if you desire more guitar content, I got you. In case you missed it, since the last episode of AskGufish, I uploaded an unboxing vlog of new studio gear. Most of this channel's life has consisted of just cobbling together whatever Craigslist finds I could to just make it work. But I had some stuff that was finally starting to give out, and so it was time for a necessary change. And you may notice things sound a lot more professional now. It's kind of weird. Eagle-eyed viewers also caught a glimpse of my new old amp in the background that I may or may not be making a video on right now because it is one of the most undervalued hidden gems on the used market right now that you should be aware of. I'm really excited about that one. Over 7 billion% of viewers are not subscribed, so make sure you do that now so you don't miss it. Then I tried Rocksmith out for the first time. It's like Guitar Hero, but with a real guitar. The mobile version is actually super interesting because it uses your phone or iPad mic for note detection. You don't need a cable to connect your guitar or anything. So you can literally practice or learn a song wherever, whenever, at home, on the go, and get real-time feedback through the app. Really interesting concept. We've come so far from static tabs. And lastly, if you missed last episode of AskGufish where we talked about PRS's so-called TELE killer, EVH's new Japanese production line, and fucking Kramer hot dog guitar, links to that and to all the other videos will be in the cards and in the description. And that will do it for this week's special tropical episode of AskGufish. Hope you enjoyed it, and massive shout out to my amazing patrons for making this channel possible. Their names are up on the screen right now. If you like what I do, consider supporting over there for bonus perks. Maybe become a YouTube member or grab yourself some merch. All that really helps out. Social media, merch, and affiliate links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I will see you for the next video. Oh, yeah, it's fucking time to go.